Hi, this is Mr. Chandler. Thank you for watching the 2.1 summary. If you haven't already, please go and watch the 2.1 video that's linked on Edmodo. In 2.1, we're looking at the growth of nationalism, and this occurred during the presidency of Thomas Jefferson and the next few presidents after that. As we started growing as a country, the pride in the country grew, and expansionism became a priority of the early presidents. Manifest destiny was an important early principle, which was the belief that God had given us the land from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. The first place we expanded was through the Louisiana Purchase that we bought from France. Jefferson really wondered if he had the constitutional ability to buy that land, because the Constitution doesn't expressly give presidents the power to negotiate buying land. Once we do purchase it, then we have to explore it, and that's when he sends Lewis and Clark out to explore the land. As a result of the purchase, the U.S. doubles in land size. Coinciding with all this is the spread of democracy, where more and more people are getting the right to vote. Almost all the states did away with the landowning requirements to vote, and so more people were able to vote as long as you were a white male. Politicians also started campaigning, which they'd never done before, and the Democratic Party grew in power, and that's really tied to the presidency of Andrew Jackson, and this is a movement of the common man. Jackson and his followers really embraced the idea of the common man, and they thought they spoke directly for the common man. The Louisiana Purchase sets the precedent for future land acquisitions. We're going to keep trying to expand from the Atlantic to the Pacific, which is the idea of manifest destiny. There will be a lot of different ways where we try to expand. The first area where we try to get is Oregon. It's a dispute between the British and us, and we actually come up with the slogan 54-40 or fight, which means that we think we should have up to the 54-40 parallel, or else we're going to go to war over it. What actually happens is we agree to take half of it. The British take the top half and we take the bottom half. And then the Texas Revolution is another way that we get land. Texas declares its independence from Mexico. They fight the war for it. And then eventually we're going to annex it and make it part of the United States. A big internal conflict that happens around the same time is the nullification crisis. This is a conflict between states' rights and federal power. This kind of goes all the way back to the ideas of Jefferson and Hamilton. It was over the tariff, and South Carolina really didn't like the idea of the tariff because it hurt the South because they had to buy all their manufactured goods from Britain, and it actually helps the North, and so the South doesn't like it for those reasons. South Carolina actually tries to nullify the tariff, which means they want to make it void. However, President Jackson's not going to let that happen, so he actually gets the force bill passed where he's going to force South Carolina to go along with the tariff. This actually almost leads to war between the areas, but South Carolina ends up backing down, and there's a compromise reached where they end up lowering the tariff. But it actually shows some of the problems that are going on in the United States at a time that are going to eventually lead to the Civil War. Another negative about westward expansion is the effect on Native Americans. They're displaced as we start moving westward, and we start kicking them off their land and kicking them off their land until eventually we put them onto reservations. One of the most tragic stories is the Trail of Tears. Andrew Jackson and the Army basically kicked the Cherokees out of Georgia and escort them to Oklahoma, and a lot of the Native Americans end up dying in the process. As we start moving westward in the South, slavery also expands through in Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana and then Texas. To really summarize, what we've done is we've set the stage for the Civil War. We're showing that there's going to be a lot of issue over the expansion of slavery, and there's a lot of tension in the country, and the growing nationalism, which is going to eventually lead to sectionalism in the next few units, and is going to lead to the Civil War later. Thank you for watching. Please go to Edmodo to take the quiz and turn in the notes guide.